Look, though, let's move on. Let's move on. Our final one for today. Let's talk about Tiger King season two. Tiger King took the world by storm back in all those years ago in 2020, and everyone couldn't stop talking about Tiger King. But now Tiger King season two's come out, and I feel like I haven't. No one cares. Have you
Yeah.
noticed this? Like no one's talking. Why do you think no one cares about season two?
I, I think like because it was just like a one hit wonder kind of thing. I feel like people now thinking like, oh, it was just a cash grab. Like they're just riding off the success of the first Tiger King. Like I'm not going to complain because I find the whole story, like all these stories that these all this shit that these people are involved in, interesting. It's all
Mm.
interesting, and I'll watch it. But like, yeah, I totally understand why people are like, oh, they're just riding off the success of it. There's not gonna be as much story. I
Yeah.
can kind of see why. Like,
Now, I got to make a confession to everybody here as well. I haven't seen all of season two. I watched the first couple episodes, sort of fell off, and then you convinced me that it gets better, and the last two episodes were way better.
yeah,
And so before today, I tried to watch them. I got through the second last episode and halfway through the final episode. And I'll admit, it gets a lot better in those last two episodes.
yeah,
So I think I'll just back it up for those who aren't aware. I think while season one kind of felt like it had a bit of a story, season two, it's more like it's like a where are they now? Here's this
yeah,
character from season one. It's like a big plot point is the fact that season one was so successful, which is kind of weird. I think for a documentary, it kind of feels like the documentarians are really contributing to the story. But towards the end, it starts feeling like there's a bit more of a story because um, I think we find out more of the shitty stuff that Jeff did, and
yeah.
then this Tim Stark
Oh,
character.
dude, that dude is a fucking nut job. Like
Yeah, he's like
Tim
another Joe
Stark.
Exotic. He's
Yeah.
always talking. He's openly telling people he's going to
Oh,
shoot them.
I'd even put it even
And
worse than Joe Exotic.
yeah,
He's
but
like,
but in the craziness, he's out there. Like
yeah,
he's
yeah,
and this Alan Glover guy who comes out of nowhere. And so I didn't see the end. So fill me in here. But he said he was going to like make a confession and say that he was the. What was
yeah.
he
So
going to do? Like he was going to get Joe out of jail, or what happened there?
no. So he was the one that Joe allegedly hired originally to kill Carol Baskin.
Right.
And then the whole thing in season two was, well, actually, no, Alan Glover then like flips the table and says, no, I was originally going to go, I was originally going to kill Joe because I was sick and tired of him. He's like, I never ever, he's
Right.
like, and he basically said the whole thing didn't happen. The whole thing was like, there was no plot to kill Carol Baskin. And basically it just completely flipped. And because Joe
So who
and
was going to pay him to kill Joe? Who was going to pay him to kill
Well,
Joe?
I don't know. I think it might have been like a hypothetical, but him and Jeff were kind of because Kim and Jeff were like friends, right? And I
Yeah.
think they were talking about getting rid of Joe somehow. And I don't know if it actually he meant when he said he was going to kill Joe, but they were like it was like that thought in their head about killing Joe. And I don't know. He's a bit of a weird person, but he's basically just flipped the whole thing and said no, the whole thing's faked. Joe, he says I think you like earlier in the season he says to the camera guy, Joe doesn't deserve to be in prison or whatever, or he doesn't deserve to be in prison for as long as he's been in prison, stuff like that. And yeah, I mean,
Dude, does it seem to you, because I get this vibe, especially in these later episodes when it starts getting a bit crazier and, there's people talking about getting Joe out of prison and there's some people flipping sides, like people who are against
yeah,
Joe and now on his
now on
side.
his side, yeah,
Do you feel like they're just doing it for the fame? Like now the show's successful, they want to keep the story going, or
and
like it
let,
just seems weird that they're changing their stories so much
well,
now.
let's be honest. I mean, like Jeff Lowe and Alan Glover, and basically the people that were against Joe were kind of made out to be pieces of shit. And Joe was kind of propped up as the good guy or whatever. In the way that it was shot, in the way from his story and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I don't know. It could be. I think it was. What was that guy's name? James Garrison. He was like, he said one of the
Yeah.
first two episodes, he's like, oh yeah, like the first Tiger King, I look like a piece of shit rat or whatever, and he's like, I'm not like that at all, and he's trying to like defend
Well,
himself, and
there's a scene when Jeff Lowe says that the alliance they're building, like it's literally out of self-preservation, and James Garrison said something like, "Yeah, I'm flipping sides. I don't care." Like he's so open about it. Like I feel like some of them they're only taking Joe's side now. It's because they want to do it to save their public image.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of messed up because I feel like at the end of the day, like, okay, so one of the good episodes in this, I think, it goes into Carol's ex-husband, the one that she allegedly fed to tigers, and they reveal how much of a piece of shit he was and how he was doing all sorts of illegal stuff in this island and had all these money issues and stuff. And I feel like I liked how they sort of revealed all this stuff. It was really interesting because it shows there are other ways he could have died. There are a lot of people out to get that guy, you know? And again, it seems like everyone connected to these big cats are just everybody's crazy.
Nut jobs.
But complete nut jobs, yeah. Even without the drugs. But it seems like I feel like Carol got the bad end of the stick in the first one because compared to Joe, she's done nothing wrong unless she killed her husband. Feeding someone to tigers seems a little far-fetched as a method of murder, you know? So I feel like it's a bit hard to believe, but like, yeah, I thought that was really interesting and they delved into that dude's life. And yeah, can we talk about season 2? Nowhere as good as season 1, would you say?
No, but I wasn't expecting it to be. Like you're an idiot if you expected this season to be better than the last. I'm sorry, but
the problem is there's like I said before, there's no story to tell. So not much story to tell because not much has happened. So it's been more of like a where are they now type thing. And I feel like it made it hard for me to stay engaged because of all that.
Yeah.
I did think it was interesting though how like some episodes were a lot better than others, I would say.
Yeah.
I would definitely say that. I had something else to say, but I've lost my train of thought.
I kind of thought the whole Don Lewis thing was kind of like it was all hypothetical.
Don Lewis,
it's like
that's the guy,
oh, maybe he went here, maybe he's still alive, maybe Carol still knows, maybe do you know what I mean? Like it's all just like, and look, it's interesting. It's like you get a broad picture of who this guy was. And it sounds like he had a very interesting like double life he was living. But it kind of got dragged. And I'm like, guys, this is just all hypothetical shit. You just don't, unless it's concrete, there's not much point. Like,
I think it's interesting as a way to try and show that Carol probably didn't kill him. Actually, I remember like my main point here. The biggest criticism of the show is that like the two main characters, Joe Exotic and Carol Baskin, aren't really in it. Like Joe has some phone call conversations, but you barely see him. And apparently Carol is suing Netflix because all the footage they have of her was used
recycled
without permission. Yeah, it's recycled and used without permission.
There's no new footage of her in season 2. There's none.
Yeah. And all the stuff with Joe, it's like he's still in prison. So it kind of feels like they really scraped the barrel to make this because they kind of had to make a show without the two main characters. I would have rathered they wait a few years for Joe to get out of jail or get permission for Carol and use her, but I think she's got some exclusive deal with someone else or whatever. But
I'm saying this now. I guarantee Joe Exotic will get out of jail. Without a doubt. He's going to get out. If he doesn't get out of jail, his sentence is going to be severely reduced. Because I think he originally had 22 years. And now I think it's 17 years. And I think it's going to he'll either be released or the sentence will be severely reduced. That's what I reckon is going to happen.
I think I think reduced is possible, especially with the petitions and stuff. But letting him go, like, I don't know, they've got to have some like real major evidence or something. I didn't see the ending. How did it end? Did anything major? Was there a major reveal?
There wasn't.
I saw up to Tim Stark, and this is a really cool moment. But seeing Tim Stark lose his big cat farm, like the FBI, whoever they were, came and took all his cats, and I saw he tried to. Last time I saw, he tried to go on the run, and he drove away, and they found like a truck that had all these animals in it, and they were gonna pretty much die in there because they weren't gonna get fed or anything. Yeah. But I didn't see. Like, I'm assuming they caught him, or what happened?
Yeah, they caught him. But I was just gonna say it's funny when the cops come, and the cops are chatting to him, and they're like, "Oh, you gotta go for the property. You gotta go to the property." And Tim Stark's looking around his property. He's like, you know, there's a good sniper location over there. I might just go over there. And the cop's like, hey man, calm down. It's just, I'm like, this guy's a fucking nut job.
He goes, oh yeah, sniper distance. He goes, you gotta be careful what you say around. He's like, oh no, that's not a threat, it's not a threat. It's all of a sudden, he dials back straight away.
He gets caught. I think I can't remember. I think it was a few weeks until he got caught, and he got caught. But from memory, he was at a bar and he was just kind of loose lips, and someone put two and two together. I could be wrong. Someone could correct me on that, but it was something
sounds right.
something like that.
I haven't seen it, but it sounds right.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see? Sorry. I don't know. I'm trying to think about where you dropped off. Did you see like where Jeff Lowe and his missus were just kind of like falling off the wagon? Like there was a time where Jeff Lowe got caught by the cops in his car. He was completely drunk, just fucking out of it. Did you see that part?
Yeah, he had a few moments like that. Was it Jeff Lowe or someone else who was trying to build the strip club in the middle of the Tiger Zoo? Was that him?
No. That was No, that was Jeff
Starr?
Lowe. Sorry, that was Jeff Lowe.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. Yes,
fucking
that was
crazy mother.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
It's like, okay, so you're gonna have these baby tigers in there with strippers and all that, and you think nothing bad's gonna happen? Like people are gonna be doing drugs in there. They're gonna be drinking. You're getting tired. And you think that's safe?
He's the ultimate smart man, smart con man. Like I remember there's this scene where they're just like interviewing like all the different like former Tiger King employees, and they're all just looking like they're sitting on a couch. Or they're sitting on like that guy that passed away, Eric, whatever, with the long hair. He's sitting on, I can't remember what he's sitting on, but they're all just like casual sitting. And then you see fucking Jeff Lowe just sitting with his wife in a bikini and some other chick in a bikini, just laying on this fucking bed. I'm like, bro, this fucking dude, like.
Yeah, it's some big piece of shit. It's amazing every time like they really play up how scumbaggy some of these people are, and like I buy it. It's just amazing how they can make. Like, to me, Joe was such an out there kind of a shitty person, but they somehow find a way to show how some of these people are even shittier and more crazy and more insane. They're less entertaining, but yeah.
I liked the first episode where they did the flashbacks on him, like kind of build up his life, what he was about, where he grew up. You know, he kind of grew up in that rural farm setting. You know, had a very tough father. His brother hates him, hates his guts.
Yeah.
I'm going back to Louis Theroux again from the last episode. Louis Theroux's like return documentary. He interviewed Joe's brother in more depth, the brother that hates Joe.
Yeah.
And he just kept going about how much he fucking hated Joe. He's like, I'd shoot Joe if he came on my property or some shit like that. And
oh my god! In this show, every 30 seconds, someone threatens to shoot someone. It's like if Jerry Springer was somehow more redneck.
But I thought Joe's life. Do you remember when he was driving that cop car? He had that cop car or whatever it was, and everyone was like, "Oh, you know, he was like the youngest deputy or whatever." When he was driving that cop car, I kept thinking of the Mad Max's car in Mad Max. And he had like the little light above his head, like the head of the like the top of the vehicle, and I just kept thinking of that Mad Max car. And I'm like, surely I'm not the only one that's thinking this. Like, but at the end, Joe and Jeff Lowe kind of team up, and they have like a call with like who's the lawyer that was with Don Lewis's family. I can't remember his name. Something Phillips or some shit.
Yeah, I know the guy. I saw part of this scene. Yeah.
Yeah, so he basically represents Joe now and she's trying to get Joe out of prison. And basically, Jeff Lowe and his missus side with Joe and they talk with Joe on a phone call. And Joe's like, dude, if we don't work there or do something, we're both going to be rotting in prison. So
that's why I kind of feel like they're kind of just doing whatever they can to save their skin rather than, you know, doing the truth or whatever, you know?
Yeah, well, Carabaskin took the property. They got rid of all the animals. All the animals went to a sanctuary. So they had the very last scene is all the animals at this sanctuary. And they're all just like roaming free and stuff. They're like, yeah, that was nice.
At the end of the day, I'm just glad. I think all these people suck. I'm just glad that they get away from them because they all treat them terribly. Like that one scene with Tim Stark where they're talking about how they're clipping the baby tiger's claws, and the guy's explaining it's like getting rid of a human's knuckle because they need them to walk, and that means they're going to grow up with arthritis and problems, and it's like they're literally ruining their lives. It's like, wow, and it's all for a quick buck, so it's sad.
Well, he didn't want them scratching them, but it's like, dude, like you just let them roam free, like willy-nilly.
You're doing it for profit. You're doing it for profit. Like, it's bad. Anyways, anything else to say before we wrap up today?
Yeah, I was just about Tim Stark and how fucking insane he is. I remember seeing him in the original Louis Theroux documentary. I don't know if you remember that. He was in that. He had this baboon caged up in this like tiny ass cage, and Louis takes him out, and the thing's clearly freaked out. And even then, I thought, man, this guy's unhinged. There's something off about this dude. So I like the fact that he was included in the new series because it kind of gave it that bit of extra without Joe and Carol around. So yeah, I still enjoyed it. It wasn't good, obviously wasn't as good as the first one because I didn't have enough material, but still enjoyed it. So